What is going on, YouTube family? Welcome back to my channel. I just want to say, you guys, happy holidays. I hope you guys had a wonderful holiday. If you celebrate Christmas, I hope you guys enjoyed time with your family. I hope you guys are staying safe out there. So today, you guys, I watched Wonder Woman 1984, and today we're going to be talking about Wonder Woman 1984. This is going to be a spoiler-free review. There's a couple of things that I have to touch on that will be little spoilers, but I'm not gonna spoil the plot. So I'm just gonna talk about the good, the bad, the things I like, things I don't like, and then I'll give it my overall rating. If you're new to my channel, the way I rank my movies is awesome, which is the best, really good, which is right under that, meh, which is middle of the road, like a C, disappointing or disappointment, which is like a D, and then absolute garbage, which is like terrible, unwatchable, not a good movie. So that's how we'll be ranking. So let's talk about the good. The good first. So Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. I think it's dope. I think it's awesome. Her portrayal. I think her portrayal in this film is the best that she's been in Wonder Woman, in my personal opinion. She played the character 3 times before this, so I feel like with this film, she really kind of knew what she was doing. I enjoyed the film, and I think that she was a lot more. If I watched the first film after this, after I watched 1984, some of the emotional scenes in 1984 are way better acted by Gal Gadot than in the first film. So I dug her performance. I think it was a lot more believable. The emotions. Steve Trevor, Chris Pine plays Steve Trevor, reprises the role from the first film, and the dynamic is still there. He's still like that love interest character. They are like in love with each other, and I was really worried about them bringing him back just because I thought like maybe it would be kind of whack or it would be like overshadow the film or something like that. It was actually fine, and I like the role reversal from the first film. In the first film, Diana, Wonder Woman, came from Themyscira, and Steve Trevor was the one that was kind of showing her around, the world, just because she's never been around men. She doesn't know how the world works. And with this film, they found a way to make it so that Diana, Wonder Woman, was the one guiding Steve, because Steve had been dead for decades and Wonder Woman has been around for, like 60, 70 plus years since the events of the first film. So she was the one guiding Steve Trevor around this time, and I really dug that. I thought it was funny. They played on a lot of the technology, him not knowing about things, because he's like a man out of time. So I dug that. Pedro Pascal as Maxwell Lord, I thought that was pretty good. Let me just say this real quick. I'm really starting to dig Pedro Pascal as an actor. I love The Mandalorian. I've seen season 1, and I just watched season 2, the whole season, and I watched the season finale for season 2 last week. I thought it was dope. I really dig him as an actor. I think he did a good job. He's really charismatic. I really like his performance. I think, he's kind of like the hero of his own story, and he's not an outright supervillain. He's not like trying to do evil. He's not trying to take over the whole entire world. Essentially, I guess he is, but he's not driven like trying to cause the deaths of countless innocents and stuff like that, like we see in some of these other superhero films, trying to take over the world or whatever. Kristen Wiig as Cheetah, I really dug it. I dug her performance. Her performance was pretty good. I'll talk a little bit more about her when I get to bad, because there's some things about her I don't like, but for the most part of this film, I really enjoy her performance. I think it's really believable, and at her core, she's really just she's like a woman who really just wants to be empowered and loved and feel affection and all of those things that most of us normal people we want to feel. So I felt her character arc. I felt where they were going with it. The 1984 setting, I thought it was really good. I liked this in DC. Guys, I live near DC, so anytime I see my city being represented in film, I just love it. It really has an 80s vibe, and it definitely does feel kind of like Superman 2. For those who have seen that film, there's definitely some things that happen in that film. Pedro Pascal's character kind of feels like kind of feels like Lex Luthor from that film a little bit. He kind of feels like Lex Luthor from the Superman films. So all that's good. Now here's where we get into the bad. The bad. This is a real slow burn. The first Wonder Woman was a bit of a slow burn, but it's an origin story, so I kind of understand it a little bit more. With this film, it is a real slow burn. Like, literally, we see the beginning of the film, we see the flashback sequence, we see Wonder Woman saving the day, beating up some robbers and stuff like that, and then it's like a good 35-40 minutes before we see Diana in costume as Wonder Woman again. It might have even been an hour. It felt like that. This movie's 2.5 hours long, you guys, and it feels like it's 35-40 minutes way too long. So pacing is a little, it's a bit of a slow burn, I'll say that. The flashback sequence at the beginning of the film, it kind of upset me, and I'll talk about it. Robin Wright and Connie Nielsen reprised their roles in this film as Antiope, who is Diana's aunt, and Queen Hippolyta, who is Diana's mother, respectively. And they came into the film, honestly, just for the fact of just being there. The flashback just felt really weird for that to really be going on like that. I knew Antiope died in the previous film, spoiler alert, and that was fine, but I really wanted to see, like, oh, maybe Hippolyta and Diana would have some sort of interaction, and she would know that Diana saved the world in the first film and all of that stuff, and that didn't happen. And it just kind of felt like really contracted, and I really did, it just felt like they were contracted to come back and reprise the role, so they absolutely had to, and I thought that was really weak. Maxwell Lord's motivations in the third act of the film, I felt was like it. The first two acts, it felt really good. It felt like it made a whole lot of sense, like why he was going down the direction he was going down. And then we get to the third act, and it's like, why choose to go down the path to go even further down than what he originally started? It kind of felt like, I can't spoil it for you guys here. I'm going to do a spoiler review on next Monday coming up, like 3 days from now. But I didn't, his motivations were good in the first two acts of the film. And in third act, it went nowhere to me. It just went down a path where I just didn't understand why it went to that level. Cheetah. I like Kristen Wiig's performance as Barbara and Minerva, but once she becomes Cheetah, the motivations again make no sense. It just goes down. It just goes downhill. It makes no sense at all. I really was hoping they would go more of the comic book origin with her character, but it just didn't. In the CGI, if you guys have seen the trailer with Cheetah in it, it's really weak. And I think that they threw her in this movie as a afterthought character. She wasn't there to really, like, when she's Barbara, it makes sense. She's like layers. Like, I think of that quote from Shrek where it's like, ogres are like onions, they're layered. And it makes perfect sense. Like, okay, you have one layer to her where it's like she's just a geeky girl who wants to be, noticed and pretty and empowered and everything that Diana is, and I get that, and that makes perfect sense. Then she becomes that at like layer 2, and it's like, oh, she's like a perfect antithesis to Diana. They're like the same side of a different. They're like two different sides of a coin, and it makes perfect sense. Like, you got Diana who's heads, and you got Barbara who's tails. It makes kind of sense. Like, all right, cool. She's like the opposite of Diana, but she still is well intentioned. She's just a little bit misguided in what she's doing. Then she just becomes Cheetah, and it's like the CGI is terrible, and I literally feel like they just threw Cheetah in the film because Diana can't go punch out Maxwell Lord's lights out because he's a human being. I feel like it's almost like she's just like his bodyguard, basically. And the CGI when she becomes Cheetah is awful. It doesn't look good, you guys. And that's really all negative I have to say about the film. I think it's a good film. I don't think it's better than the first. I actually rewatched the first, like, literally, I just got finished rewatching the first one. I rewatched it with my wife and my sister-in-law. And the first one, in my opinion, is a better film. There's war, there's gods, there's Greek gods, there's all of this cool stuff. And the war, I think, it helps the fact that the first film is a bit of a slow burn, and it's that fish out of water tale, and Diana's really naive, and then ultimately she's the hero. She saves the day. Steve Trevor sacrificed himself in that first film. It's just it. I have little nitpicks with the first film, just little nitpicks. I can't really, maybe I'll do a review for the first one next week since I covered this one. But the second one, it just felt like they tried to go bigger with the stakes, and I just feel like it dipped in quality a little bit. I feel like the first film, there were too many conveniences in this film, and I'll talk about it in my spoiler review. I can't talk about it right now, but there were just some things that there were some missteps that I think that they messed up with this film, and I think if they had stuck the landing, I think Wonder Woman 1984 would have been the better film. But ultimately, guys, this is a really good film in my ranking, on my ranking system, which is like a B, of 4 out of 5 stars. I think it's really good. That's all I can say about it. I enjoyed it. I've watched it twice today, and my opinion still stays the same, that I think that the first one is better. I think the first one is awesome, which is the highest scale on my rating system. I think this one is really good. It's more positives than bad. It takes a dip in quality, guys. It's like with your first Avengers movie. I thought that one was awesome, and then Avengers Age of Ultron came out, and it took a dip in quality to me. That's exactly what this film is. It's Avengers Age of Ultron. It's still good, it's still fun, it's still enjoyable. You like the characters, you like the bright colors, you like that the stakes are raised, but ultimately there's something about it where it takes a dip in quality from the first film. So you guys, have you seen Wonder Woman 1984? What do you think about it? Comment below. Let me know what you think about this film. Let me know what you feel. Do you feel my opinion was right? I honestly think this is a good film. And I look forward to the future. I look forward to seeing more Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. I look forward to seeing more Wonder Woman in the DCEU. I recommend this film. It's just a 4 out of 5, 80. And it's really good on my ranking. So you guys check this film out in theaters or HBO Max, and I'll catch you guys in the next one on Monday when I talk full spoilers for this film. See you guys then.